So critics are tearing into a legacy media outlet. They say it downplayed this IED attack in New York City, which authorities say was ISIS-inspired. Now, CNN, with this now deleted post, 2 Pennsylvania teenagers crossed into New York City Saturday morning for what could have been a normal day, enjoying the city during abnormally warm weather. But in less than an hour, their lives would drastically change as the pair would be arrested for throwing homemade bombs. Well, the network responded to criticisms with, quote, they say it failed to reflect the gravity of the incident, thereby breaching the editorial standards we require for all our reporting. Now, here's just a sample of the mockery online. What sort of country do we live in where 2 Pennsylvania teenagers aren't allowed to enjoy a lovely spring day throwing bombs at people? Another called it astoundingly misleading. Another says that's not a lapse in editorial standards. That's the editorial standard working exactly as intended. And the network's on-air coverage only made it worse. Abby Phillips saying this last night.
2 Republicans say Muslims don't belong here after an attempted terror attack against New York's Mayor Zohran Mamdani, and the House Speaker Mike Johnson says nothing really to condemn those comments.
What I find ironic is, supposedly some of these comments are as a result of the attempt against Mayor Mamdani in New York, who was raised Muslim, was he not? Himself. Yeah. So they're being anti-Muslim and they're finally defending Mamdani over something.
And CNN, not the only one. The New York Times was forced to correct its headline after calling the homemade bombs, quote, smoking jars of metal and fuses. A new op-ed in the Washington Examiner titled When Islamophobia Becomes a License to Lie. An excerpt says, journalism's core mission is to report and synthesize events to tell people the truth in clear language. This isn't merely bias, it's anti-journalism, reporting that literally leads the reader away from the truth. In focus now, Jason Chaffetz, former Utah congressman and Fox News contributor. All right, Jason, great to see you today. I got to tell you, if I wasn't following this as a reporter and tracking this with our amazing teams who are out there gathering intel on this, the headlines and these articles were so confusing, I would not have understood exactly who threw what and who it was aimed at.
Yeah, if the allegations are true, these are terrorists who meant to kill and maim people. That somehow got lost in the headlines along the way. Are you kidding? Smoking jars? These are just 2 teenagers? No, this was a premeditated attack, according to the allegations. And they get lost in this. The gyrations that these outlets go to support and to coddle and to make and to smooth out those that want to cause mayhem in our country, to actually engage in terrorist attacks. The American people are just fed up with this. This is why they're so unbelievable. Nobody believes these outlets anymore. Yeah, people are so frustrated with a lot of mainstream media outlets. And there are so many outlets now that you can turn to that people are seeing that there are other ways to get the truth, to get facts here. But I just don't understand the idea that you would want to downplay what happened, or that there would be language that it would make it appear that the mayor was the target of these improvised devices. It doesn't seem like he was the target at all, at least based on what we know so far. Yeah, I'm sure the allegation again that they put screws and bolts and other things so that the bomb would go off and cause more mayhem than the Boston bombers. I'm sure that was just an accident by a couple of teenagers who were out for a stroll one day. But, you know, that's what they do. They try to temper this down. And it's just not right. It is anti-journalism, as they wrote. It is anti-journalism. Well, we have a big responsibility and a privilege to get it right. We don't always, but we try to, and own it if we don't. Okay, so the buzz already building over the 2028 presidential race. ESPN host Stephen A. Smith says he will not launch a 28 bid, but he has 3 other contenders in mind, and his top choice, not a Democrat.
I'd vote for Westmore, Governor of Maryland. I'd vote for Josh Shapiro, Governor of Pennsylvania. I'd vote for Marco Rubio.
Okay. Talk about, what is it about Marco?
He's an adult in the room. There is no questioning his qualifications. I'd vote for Marco Rubio over anybody that's out there right now other than Westmore or Josh Shapiro.
Well, Smith referenced the Democrat side. Maryland Governor Wes Moore and Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. Their names out there are quite a bit. He sees them as more likely choices than other big names like Governor Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris. Politico raising doubts about the former VP's chances with this piece titled, Kamala Harris is buying time, but Democrats are looking ahead. Here's some quotes in that piece. We tried it. It didn't work. Next person up. That's one South Carolina state senator said in the piece. Cleveland's mayor said, my preference would be somebody who can blank win. And a liberal advocacy group's co-founder saying, I just don't see it right now. Jason, last we heard from her on this, she sort of demurred, keeping her options open, changing her website, doing a book tour. Do you think she gets in? Or do you think Democrats say, time to turn the page?
I think Republicans want her to get in there because she spent over $1 billion and just got slaughtered electorally and on the popular vote. She can't string two sentences together. Her word salads are just famous. But I think you're seeing what the Democrats' problem is. A person like Marco Rubio, somebody who speaks fluent Spanish, is highly capable. He's known throughout the country, has great name recognition, beautiful, wonderful family, and he knows his stuff. That's the difference. He actually can talk policy all day long and run circles around anybody else on the Democratic side of the aisle.
Well, what do you think about some of these other contenders that were mentioned? Governor Moore, Governor Shapiro, they have a lot of appeal to independents. They've got excellent resumes. I mean, Democrats seem to think, all right, it might be time to go with the next generation.
Yeah, but, Governor Moore's got all kinds of ethical problems, and I think that'll be interesting to see out of there. Look, they should have probably picked Governor Shapiro to be on the ticket with Kamala Harris, but they can't seem to get their arms around the idea that he has a Jewish background. He comes from a very important state electorally, obviously in Pennsylvania. He probably is one of the strongest contenders on the Democratic side of the aisle. I just think the progressive wing, the AOCs of the world, the Bernie Sanders, they're not going to let somebody like that into the race. They are lurched so far to the left. They can't possibly elect somebody like that to be their nominee.
Sometimes you got to figure things out internally before you can head out to that general stage. Jason, always good to see you.
Thanks, Shannon.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.